Olá para você que me acompanha aqui no canal do Meu Tio Oscar. Essa é a segunda parte de um especial com os melhores momentos do último Governors Awards, uma cerimônia da Academia de Artes e Ciências Cinematográficas que aconteceu no último dia 25 de março e entregou prêmios especiais não competitivos. Na primeira parte, você viu os Oscars honorários sendo entregues para Elaine May e também para o Samuel L. Jackson. E no vídeo de hoje, você confere mais um Oscar honorário, dessa vez para Liv Ullmann, e o Prêmio Humanitário Jean Hersholt para o Danny Glover. Vamos ver. Antes de subir ao palco para receber o seu prêmio, Liv Ullmann foi introduzida pelo ator John Lithgow.
The great power of Liv's achievements as an actor and as a director arises from her boundless capacity for empathy. First, there is Liv's legendary history as the collaborator and muse of the iconic Ingmar Bergman. She appeared in 10 Bergman films, among them Persona, Cries and Whispers, Face to Face, and Autumn Sonata. For those few who claim she would never have been called one of our greatest actors without Ingmar Bergman, I would answer Bergman would probably never have been called one of our greatest filmmakers without Liv Ullmann.
Em seguida, Liv Ullmann faz um discurso recheado de nostalgia.
I wanted to be an actress and I went to the theater school in Norway and I was going to show them Julie in Romeo and Julie. I was 17 years old, but I understood everything about her story. And she had just heard that Romeo was dead and now she wanted to take her life. And she had a glass of poison. And the way I had studied it by myself, I didn't speak much to other people, but I did a lot on my own, even my first theater thing. And I came in front of the jury and I showed them what I knew about someone's death. It was a glass of poison, and what I wanted it was to drink this glass and think of Romeo, and then slowly I would fall down and down and down on the floor and die. And then I heard from the 3 jury people, I heard the oldest of them say, in the middle of me going down and down and down, she said, "Thank you, Liv Ullmann, this is enough." I cried and I couldn't understand it because it was the one thing I knew I could, it was acting. And I went home to my grandmother in Oslo and I rang the doorbell and she opened and I said, I didn't make it and this is what I did, down and down. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, it's wonderful." She didn't understand a word of it. And then she took me into her bed and we were to sleep and I was crying and she put a blanket over us and there I was lying so close to her. And I felt so safe, and I felt this breathing and everything in her neck. She smelled so well, and I knew that I belonged. And she was my best friend. From I was 11, we went and saw films. My whole upbringing was very often from films, sitting in the quiet of the theater, and watching the Italians, Miracle in the Milano, Bicycle Thieves, American movies. I cried with Susan Hayward and so many others. I was them as a child. And I continued my career. I did a lot of stuff in Norway, but coming out in the big world, meeting new teachers all the time, meeting teachers, among actors, among directors, among so many things, meeting teachers that made me love to be part of the painters, the musicians, the dancers, everything that is part of art. I was one of them. Even Richard Rodgers, you won't believe it, he wrote a musical for me. And I don't sing and I don't dance. He gave me 7 songs on Broadway. And I was walking on Fifth Avenue, and there Greta Garbo came. And I was so full of myself, and I wanted to tell her, I am doing Anne Christie. And I went towards her, and she saw me, and she got really scared, and she started to run. And I had to run after her because I had to tell who I was and why I was and all of that. And she ran faster and looked at me, and I ran very fast too. And we came to Central Park, and she looked terrified at me and went into Central Park, and I never saw her again. Recognizing is not recognizing yourself only, but you should recognize yourself only, I thought. But it's in reality to recognize other people. And I'm so grateful for this when I got this call. And it was David. I call him David now because he's so gentle. I've said hello to him many times since I came. And he explained why I got this. I'm so grateful. And that John would come and give it away. It somehow makes a circle in my life. And my friends are here. They can tell the people in Norway why I got it. And thank you.
A atriz Alfre Woodard entra no palco para o último prêmio da noite.
I am beside myself that I get to have the great fortune to stand up on a glorious night and say to you that I'm bearing witness to the fact that Danny Glover shows up. He always has. He shows up. He shows up to work, to play, to build, to assist. His strong hands and a tender reach, he shows up. That is why tonight we honor him with the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award.
Encerrando a cerimônia, Danny Glover agradece pelo seu Prêmio Humanitário Jean Hersholt.
At this particular moment in time, we can think about our past. We can remember our past. But one of the things that I've come through my wonderful grandparents who didn't allow their daughters and son to pick cotton in September and sent them to school in September. And because of that, these heroic, amazing people in Louisville, Georgia. She was not only the first person to graduate from college in her family and in her community. And she inspired me, my mother, because no one worked harder. No one dreamed harder. My dad, the most incredibly beautiful man that I ever met, falling in love with him when I was 5 years old. My mother and father, James and Carrie Glover, came at a point in time when the labor movement in San Francisco gave them a sense of purpose. They were connected to a larger story, a larger narrative. I have here with me a great friend of mine, George Gresham, who is the president and executive director of SIU 1199 in New York. This belongs to the workers that I had a chance to sit with and to support as they walked out on their work for justice and a better working place in the country and where they were. How do you move and keep moving? It's because people move. People move, and they continue to move. I am proud of being a part of that, and I'm proud of being someone who was moved by the work of Ethel Guard in South Africa and his writings, which they Smokai, a wonderful South African actor Zay Smokai took me around to the homes and parties that South Africans exiled would have in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And somewhere about midnight, they began to have the music of homeland, their homeland, the speaking about homeland, the tears and pain of being exiled here, not knowing what the future is in homeland, at their homelands. And those stories moved us, moved me. And I was happy to be a part of that. I'm proud to be a part of this space and place. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
E aí, gente, gostaram desse conteúdo? Então já faz o seguinte, dá like no vídeo, compartilha o material, sem esquecer de se inscrever no canal e ativar as notificações no sininho. E se você quiser assistir aos discursos de agradecimento na íntegra, está disponível aqui na descrição do vídeo o link para você ir direto para o material original, beleza? No canal do Meu Tio Oscar a gente fala sobre cinema, sobre temporada de premiações e sobre Oscar. E você é o principal convidado. Até a próxima!